along with my beautiful co-host Tabitha Harris. I'm Osric Baum, aka Slick Rick. You know, we talk about spirituality, relationships, and just life in general. And today I'm excited because we have a guest that is a very dear friend of mine that I've known for years. And I'm going to introduce you as Habiba Dume.
All right.
Is that perfect? Okay. Even
Perfect.
though I know you and will interchange with your actual name, but welcome Habiba to the
Thank
show.
you. Thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure.
No, the pleasure is all mine, and
Mhm.
to have two great ladies that are in my life that I know very well and bring so much inspiration and positivity to me. I am very fortunate to be blessed with you too. So let's talk about our topic today: relationships and why people may stay
Mm.
when the better option could be to do something else. Uh, Tabitha, I'll have you to start. What's your take on that dynamic of sometimes not being able to move on?
Well, I think sometimes people stay because sometimes they fear change, and sometimes it is that, depending on their circumstance, sometimes it's fear of failure. I know that personally for me, when I was going through my last marriage, it was fear of failure as to why I, stayed. And that honestly, it took a while for me to actually get through with actually making the change. And I think
Mm,
sometimes we stay on that fence because we're scared a lot of times. And that's why we do what we do.
okay. So
Yeah.
Habiba, what's
Mhm.
your take on that?
I think I agree with Tabitha. I think it's sometimes the fear uh, of the unknown. What is why? What are people going to think? If I go, they're
Hmm.
not really. I think we stay because of that fear. I think sometimes we stay because we're just not uncomfortable enough yet. We haven't reached the point where the pain is greater. And so uh, we'd rather shrink and stay in that box.
Mm. So does it say then something about our self-esteem?
Mm,
I, I, I think sometimes it can say a lot about our self esteem, about it not being existent or very low, or
Hmm.
uh, I've been lost in in a relationship, and it wasn't until I sort of got found and found myself that I was courageous enough to say, hey, you know what, this is really not serving either one of us.
Hmm.
We're just we're just getting along to go along, or we're afraid of what people are going to say. I mean,
Mm.
I if it's okay to get a little bit personal, I was married for 10 years before I really thought about this is actually not serving either one of us. And for the most part, all of that time we were very kind to each other, but
Hmm.
it was just an unfulfilling relationship on both sides.
Mm.
I think too, another reason too is sometimes we're also afraid of being alone.
Oh,
because especially if
hey,
you've been with
say it
that
louder so the people
person.
in the back can hear you.
Yep. That fear of being alone is a lot of times the main reason why many people don't leave, because they don't want to start over. That
Right.
means you have to literally make a change to say, you know what, I'm willing to say, you know what, I don't think this is a good situation for me,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Mm-hmm.
need to move on. But
Mm-hmm.
that taking that, actually doing it it takes a while for people to get there sometimes, which is sad, but it does. It happens.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm. I mean, I would agree on what both of you said. Uh,
Hmm.
Definitely, I think it comes down to not being uncomfortable enough,
Hmm.
because everybody knows when they've had enough. And there are
Mm.
certain factors, though, that will dictate when enough is really enough. Not being alone. Like, I don't want to be
Hmm.
alone. I don't want to start over.
Hmm.
You know, for a man, it's cheaper to keep her. And I'm feeling
Yeah.
I've been there, done that, and I'm going to say it is not.
Yeah. The financial concerns is definitely, I know that was one of my main things of that failure. I was like, man, financial, can I make it on my own? Because especially when you're used to two incomes,
Mm-hmm.
that terrified me. I was like, man, oh man, but you got to still weigh the options. Is what I'm in worth it? And will I step out on faith to move
Yeah.
past this?
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
You know,
That's a scary feeling. I was
Well,
terrified. I ain't gonna lie.
I when our marriage was ending,
Hmm.
I didn't think about the financial part.
Hmm.
I thought about how incredibly unhappy
Hmm.
both of us had become.
mm-hmm.
And it was painful to be
Hmm.
together.
Hmm.
And I remember at one point him saying to me, um, I, you know, I there was a part when we were ending and I was wanting to not end, but I knew that the better thing to do was to end it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And but at that moment, what came out of my mouth was, let's
Hmm.
figure out how to fix this.
Yeah.
Um, let's figure out how to stay together because we had
Yep.
a small child at the time. Let's
Hmm.
figure out how to stay together. And his response was, "But I can't physically stand to look at you."
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Right? We had
Mm-hmm.
become so uncomfortable that we could not
Right.
physically stand to
Yeah.
be in the same
The same.
space,
Space.
right? And
Right.
as hard as it was for him to say that, and as hard as it was for me to hear it,
Right.
it and it wasn't from a place of malice. He was just
Hmm.
saying, I can't because I've gotten to the point where I'm so unhappy.
Right. Yeah.
I can't look at you. I'm so unhappy because I
Hmm.
know you're unhappy and I'm unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true, because if you think about it logically, when something affects you physically to
Man.
the point where you just can't be in that space, that's definitely time that is parting ways time.
Right, because I think what happens after that is violence.
Oh, oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Either you two are going to be violent
Hmm.
or you're going to turn that pain
Right.
inward and you're going to hurt yourself.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
And that was the crossroad that I faced, and
Mm,
I had to walk away,
Hmm.
because it for me, it got to a point where it was
Hmm.
not about um, well, I was trying to figure out, and I was trying to figure out how to leave to have the least impact. But
Oh, okay.
when it all came down to,
Okay.
I had to, in order
Yeah.
to gain peace over myself and my life, and to be able to have a relationship with my sons.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but it's crazy when someone says to you, I don't like you,
Mm.
yet I'm going to not do anything until 5 or 6 years from now. We're already miserable. We're
Yeah.
already verbally
Mm-hmm.
hurting one another.
Right.
And you're going to tell me that instead of parting ways,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to subject both of us to that
Okay.
for 5 or 6 more years.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. That definitely could have turned into something that would have not been good. Because just like I know in my own situation, mine did turn violent in the end.
Ah.
Mm.
Yeah, I did. I actually ended up with a fractured wrist and a black eye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that was because I said I was not going to stay in that relationship. Because
Ah.
sometimes when people are in those spaces where they know they have messed up and where you're moving on, they don't want to
Mhm.
let go because they want a trauma bond with you. Because we kept going through the same cycles. And I didn't want to do the same cycles any longer of us not getting along. It was the same
Mhm.
repeated pattern. So in order for this to change, I knew I had to leave this. But yeah,
Mm.
because I wanted to leave, yeah, I was assaulted. But thank goodness, like I said, I learned a lesson behind that and what I knew I deserved.
Mhm.
And not just that, like I said, I pray that any woman who or any man who's in a situation where it may get physical, definitely before that happens, when you know it's over, take your out. Your mental health is more important than anything else. And if you have children, your children deserve better than that too.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very sensitive situation, but ultimately it will come down to
Mhm.
what becomes more important for
Yeah.
you, and again, what is it that triggers your enough is enough meter to be it's
Mhm.
enough.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Mhm.
enough.
And hopefully
Uh,
we learn not to get to a point where it got to be like enough is enough. We have to really start looking at those patterns in relationships that are just unhealthy. We tend to stay too long in unhealthy relationships when we do not have to. We tolerate a lot and we put up with a lot. And love shouldn't be like that. It doesn't have to be where it hurts. It doesn't have to be where it's toxic. We
mhm.
have to learn that early on, more so than anything.
I want to ask something.
Hmm.
Um, why do you think we get to the point of enough is enough? What causes that
Mm.
that gap?
Hmm. I think sometimes we have hope that maybe it'll change. Maybe something, something will change about the relationship where we'll grow from it. I think that's why people have hope. They're always
Hmm.
hoping and wishing that this will change, something will be better. Maybe we'll have a meeting of the mind. And then also, I think the reason why we sometimes get to that point is because a lot of people don't even seek help outside of those relationships. They don't seek professional help from therapists or
Mhm.
counselors. A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
So you trying to put a band-aid over a bullet wound when you need a specialist to help you to recover it a lot of times.
Hmm.
Hmm. Well,
Or
yeah.
at least a professional to give you insight to say,
Mhm.
do you think this, because one thing I could say about therapists and counselors, they help you to unpack and see yourself to where it's like you peering in on yourself to see, maybe this ain't right for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, you're right. I I think another or reason why that enough you get to
Mm-hmm.
that point is because
Mm-hmm.
there is something that you are afraid of, whether it's being alone or maybe it's financial,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
maybe it's your reputation.
Mm.
Yeah, true, true. Oh yeah, people do. They be
So,
afraid of
I mean,
reputation.
Yeah.
there could be different factors that are all
Mm-hmm.
internal or subjective that may cause you to
Mm-hmm.
stay in a situation that is not beneficial to either parties. But you want, but those different factors will drive it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Do
I
do
think
you
all.
go ahead?
Oh, go ahead. No, no, no. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Does it seem like it could be from unmet or unrealized expectations?
That could play a part. That
Mm-hmm.
that could play a part too, of maybe expecting not looking at the person for who they are, but
Yeah.
looking at them for what you think you may be able to turn them into, or
Or
maybe
maybe or maybe what you wanted to get from them?
or maybe what she wants to get from them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that you went into the situation not looking at the person that is standing before you, but looking past
Mm-hmm.
that to
Right.
either what it is that you want from them,
Mm-hmm.
or can they be what you want them to be and not
That's true.
Who they are.
them be themselves. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because some people do want you to break and change based off of what they want you to be. Some people are there to sometimes break your spirit to be exactly what they want you to be, unfortunately.
Right. So why?
Wow.
So okay. So I'm with two women. Why
Mm-hmm.
would a woman want? Why would a woman want to do that?
Break them in? Break
Break them in.
Into being into what she wants him to
Mm-hmm.
be. Okay. Okay. So
mm,
let me pose this question because it was one that I saw on a
Mm-hmm.
TikTok video.
okay.
Okay. And so the question that this lady had was that her man takes care of
Mm,
everything
Mm-hmm.
financially, um, spiritually. He's the father to their children, so he takes care of the kids. He does
mhm,
all of that,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
And yet she wishes he was more ambitious, right? That's so he does all of that, and she's wanting him to be more ambitious. Okay, that's first part. Then an interesting caveat came into this. She makes more than him. So he takes care of all the bills. She makes more than him. And so she doesn't have to pay anything. And
Mm-hmm.
yet she feels like he's not ambitious enough. So what does that say?
In my opinion, it almost sounds like she's ungrateful. Because if you have an active husband who's actually active and he's actively taking care of the family, but he's supporting you in everything that you do, that to me is being ungrateful. My thing is, what is her ideology of where she's getting this from? Because that means you're watching something or you're in some type of a fairy tale, something that you've been watching probably on social media to think that, oh, because people got these weird ideologies about what they think relationships should look like. But here it is, you have a good husband who shows up as a husband and supports you, who takes care of your children and is a father. I mean, come on now, and pays the bill. What more? She should be grateful that he is also supporting her as a woman in her dreams and her goals. I don't get that. What more do you want from the man? That's wild.
Habiba?
I'm working. We've just started fasting for Ramadan,
Okay.
and I'm working really hard on cursing less. Okay. But there were some 4-letter words that, as you were describing it, I was working really hard. Fly over.
So funny.
That's a sick individual that has been indoctrinated. Because, and the reason I say that is because it is natural, I think, to have a partner and to want your partner to show up for your children, because that's legacy, right? To show up for you, because that means that I don't know if you've ever had the situation where you were so preoccupied with earning money that you became, to sustain yourself, that that's all you thought about. So there was no other portion of you that could think about the things that bring you joy. You were just trying to sustain.
Right.
I don't know if you ever experienced that, but you have someone that has said, I'm going to show up for you and take care of you. I'm going to show up for our family and take care of them. And she has the audacity, the unmitigated gall, to be wanting him to do more. And I don't know if it was her language to say that she wanted him to be more ambitious, or was she using the word ambitious to say that she wanted something else actually? Right?
No, well, that's a good question. She said more ambitious. I don't, that was what it was, more ambition.
I wonder what her more ambition was. What do you want from him? What do you want him to do? Is it money? Is it monetary value?
And I was getting ready to say, because she makes more than him, does she feel that he has low ambition because he has a different compensation that she has? And I think we get warped and are thinking about what's really important. Do I need to have more compensation if all the things that I need are taken care of by someone else?
Crazy.
Why does he have to have more ambition? Because he's doing what needs to be done, which is taking care of me. Because I know this is old fashioned and I actually don't care. But my partner's job is literally to take care of me. Just like my job is to take care of him. Like, that's the job. That's what you sign up for in marriage. It doesn't look the same. So why are you equating that it has to be the same? He's somehow not doing what he needs to do because he doesn't make as much as I make.
Yeah, he does everything.
but yet he does everything.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
he doesn't.
because also in today's climate, we have a lot of toxicity behind that. This thing with a man has to make so much more than me. He has to take care of me. My thing is no, you in a true partnership, you take care of each other, and
Right.
that's just my stance on that. I know there
Right.
are women that I should be able to do this and the other, and that my money is mine and this is my. I'm like, listen, two people that really true grow together and balance, that's a partnership. It's a give and take. It's reciprocal energy.
Hmm.
There's no selfishness in true partnership.
And it doesn't have to be always the same numerical value,
No.
whether it's time or money,
Hmm.
Hmm.
but it's really rather that you're giving to each other. You know, if the goal is that we exist at 100%, and there's some days that I can only do 20,
Hmm.
Right.
then my partner's job is to bring that 80
Hmm.
Yep.
because we want to live at 100. And
Hmm.
the converse is true. If he sometimes has a day where he can only do 25, it's really my job to do that 75 so that we can
Thank
be
you.
good
Hmm.
together. Because if
Exactly.
I can do bad by myself,
Hmm.
I'm actually very good at that. So I can do 20 by myself. But the point
Right.
of being in a partnership is that when my 20, when on the day I have 20, it's really your job to get it up to 100 so we can be good together.
Right.
Hmm.
We both can't be at 20 or 25. You can't
Right.
be at 20 and me be at 25. That's only 45. So there has to be, to your point, a balance,
Right.
Hmm.
which is a very interesting concept.
Right.
Would
Right.
that be a conversation that we would have already established so that I come to you, Tabitha, and I say right at in the beginning of the day, hey babe, I'm only feeling like 25%.
I got you. Don't worry about it.
I mean, like, would that be the
So
conversation?
I think so because I mean unless you have another way of communicating that I'm not at my optimal today.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
I would imagine that in a good relationship, in a sustaining relationship, that is a part of the conversation. You know, because then
Yes.
we're no longer, I'm not trying to read your mind. You're not trying to figure out why I'm in the bed and I can't get up. And, but if
Right.
I say
Hmm.
to you, babe, I'm in the bed because
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
just really low today, you know, and then, the other partner's response could be, okay, I got you.
Hmm.
Right.
Let me figure out now that I know, because see, when I know I can do. When I don't know,
Hmm.
I'm spending so much time and energy trying to figure it out. But if you just tell me,
Hmm.
but I will say this, I know this in my 50s.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yes.
I didn't know that in my 20s.
Hey,
I was
Hmm.
young and dumb and full of cum. I mean, so I didn't know that in my 20s, right? And so I think
Hmm.
there's something to be said for knowing who you are and where you are so that
right.
Yeah.
you can be very, very clear with the people that are around you,
Hmm.
and so I think that's a part of communicating. I think knowing how to communicate those things
Hmm.
Hmm.
so that so that expectations can be set and met, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
No, it
Like,
does.
if I say, then so then you're not expecting me to give the same 80 that I gave yesterday.
Right.
Hmm.
I don't have it today. I don't
Hmm.
have it today.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
if I don't tell you that this is where I am, then you're expecting me to have the 80 and then when, I don't meet your expectations. Then we have this gap. And now
Right.
we got this gap and the gap is going to lead to a problem. So
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
So
important to definitely.
communication.
Yep.
So
Communication is
communication
key.
clearly is a key, and I think that's always comes up.
And that's why I
With,
wonder if she ever had the conversation with him about that instead of just saying, "Oh, I want him to be more ambitious." But my
I,
thing
I
is,
don't.
it just don't make no sense to me. It's
I just
just.
don't know what kind of conversation that would be.
So
I mean,
I mean,
I
like,
don't.
she been taking care of your family. I'm like, girl, what are you doing?
Yes, yeah, so
Stay off
it,
social
it
media.
it makes me think of the song by Bobby Womack,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you think you're lonely now,
Mm-hmm. Just
because
right.
Mm,
what how I see it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting where
Mm-hmm.
things change yet they remain the same. Okay, because that song was written
That's
back
true.
in the 70s,
yeah.
and the point of the song essentially is that he was saying to me was that the woman is never going to be satisfied. So
Mm,
either she wants you to spend time with her,
Mm-hmm.
and she wants you to also support her
Mm-hmm.
financially, which means that you have to be in two places at one time in some instances, because you can't be at work and be spending time with her.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's true.
if you're at work, you're satisfying one part, but you're not satisfying the other part. And if you're with
Mm-hmm.
her, well, then you're not working, and unless you have something going on,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to be able to support financially. So it becomes
Mm-hmm.
a paradox of, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what do you want?
Yeah.
Like,
The
like, like,
crazy,
what do you want?
yeah, because the crazy thing is, I believe that if he became ambitious, definitely he would be working more hours, and then it'll be you don't spend time with me. Well, what do you want, lady? Because you do get that. There are people that literally do that.
Hmm.
I'd be interested to if I'd love to have known what was her relationship to her father,
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
because I'm wondering if that comment
Mm-hmm.
comes from not really the relationship she has with her husband, but the
Mm-hmm.
one that she has with her father. Was her father, um, just what was their relationship? What was the nature of how he showed up in the
Mm-hmm.
family? Because I'm
Mm.
wondering if
Mm-hmm.
she's making a
Right.
comparison,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
and really if that complaint was actually related to something beyond her husband, but rather,
Right.
you know,
So
uh,
from our
something else
childhood
from her
and
childhood.
growing up, could be.
Hmm.
Or
So
maybe her
then,
father was extremely active, and maybe her father, um, for his activism, maybe he was a really, really good provider. And
Hmm.
so now she's
mhm.
comparing him and saying, "You're
Right.
a good provider, but you're not.
Hmm.
I don't see your activity as being
Hmm.
ambitious."
Right, right. And so that is a good call out about that
Hmm.
relationship.
Hmm.
I really just think that
Hmm.
it's what that is a sign of another type of situation where we're talking about staying in a relationship. When is enough. Because see, if this is being communicated to him,
Mhm. Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, he could go but for so long, or that may drive her to still have him do everything that he's doing, and then she go off and try to find somebody else that she feels is ambitious.
I would love to know what his reaction was, since that probably kind of is all over the place. And somebody say, "Oh, your wife was talking about you on this show." I would love to know how that went over.
Yes, you know, that's I didn't even think about that. That makes it very interesting too.
Would be a fly on the wall, honey. That had to be
So
a very interesting conversation if someone sent that man that video of his wife saying what she said.
right, which leads me to this. So what I ultimately think, and then I'm going to pass this off to you, Habiba, and then I'll let you have the final word on the tab. What that situation, along with what we began talking about, which was, you know, why do people stay in situations, and when is enough is enough? Well, it really comes down to to me, it comes down to what is your motivation, or what is the reason why you're in this relationship.
Yeah.
And whatever those intentions are from a personal standpoint
Mhm.
will dictate how long you stay in something that may not be fulfilling for whatever reason. For
Mhm.
whatever reason. So what do you think, Habib?
I think when put like that, I think if I can reflect personally, I think I stayed until I realized that I needed to choose myself. And when I realized that I needed to choose myself, then all the other things sort of faded away, became less important. I
Mm-hmm.
became important because up until that point, I don't think my happiness was important. I don't think he thought his happiness was important. So we just stayed because we had this little person. And we thought that the best we could give to this little person was to stay. When we finally
Mm-hmm.
realized the best that we can give to this little person is when we choose ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so I chose myself. He chose himself. And by us making that choice, we ultimately chose our happiness.
Mm. Okay. Tabitha?
Well, I think that sometimes in relationships, when when we're not aligned any longer, we sometimes definitely need to end it. Sometimes,
Mm.
and it's okay for a chapter to close, and we have to know when it's just this is the end of the road. Not all relationships are meant to be forever, and it's okay to leave them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and like I say, every ending that that happens with us, we're creating a space for something that's more aligned for us, and that's okay. You just have to be brave enough to make the change, knowing that what you're doing is beneficial for you.
Mm-hmm. So what I hear both of you ladies saying is that uh, you ultimately have to choose yourself.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ultimately have to choose yourself. Uh, and I'll just say this. It then reminds me of what happens when you take a flight, right? And they go
Mhm.
through all of the safety precautions for the flight. And one of them is your oxygen mask drops. If we're losing, cabin pressure,
Mhm.
Yeah.
the oxygen mask drops. You got to put yours on first,
Mhm.
and
That's
then
right.
you take care of if you got a child.
Mhm.
Because
You may or may not choose, but you definitely need to choose yourself first, depending on how you feel about that child.
right, well, okay, yeah, that's true. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. if you don't choose yourself, because somebody
Right.
might say, oh, that's being selfish. I never do my child like that. Okay, so you put the child's mask on, but the cabin pressure is dropping, and so the child is fine, and you pass out because you aren't able to put your mask on. So now, did you really take care of the child? Did
Right.
you really take care
Mhm.
of the child?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you're passed out, and so
Yeah.
it's okay to choose yourself. As a matter of fact, you
Mhm.
have to choose yourself because that is what, as I have found,
Right. It's necessary.
makes the relationship.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even when you're in a relationship, if
Mhm.
you're choosing yourself to be better, ultimately that will make your relationship better with the other person if we have those type of intentions.
Mhm.
So it is
Absolutely.
okay. But I feel like we have always been deterred from choosing yourself by saying that it is
Mhm.
a selfish
Yes.
act
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
when
Yes.
history
Mhm.
says you really have to choose yourself
Mhm.
before you
Yes.
can
Yep.
be capable
Mhm.
of being with someone else.
Hmm.
Yep. And so,
Hmm.
with the affirmation we're going to leave people with today is I am not abandoning others when I choose myself. Remember
Shit.
that. I am
Habiba hit it
not
with this.
abandoning others when I choose myself.
Hmm.
It's okay to choose you.
Hmm.
And that's your affirmation for this week. Choose you.
I
Well,
love.
this has been a great conversation. Habiba, I really was very thankful and grateful that you decided to come on to the show and just be involved in the conversation. And I want to thank you for that. Can we pencil you in as a recurring guest?
I would love to come back again. This is a great conversation. This was, as I said, an honor and a pleasure. I learned so much.
Hey, well, thank you. Oh yeah. Oh, hey, you're penciled in. You penciled in.
Yes.
Perfect.
So, on behalf of Tabitha, I'm Slick Rick, our special guest Habiba. This has been another episode of the Alchemy of Us, where we talk about spirituality, relationships, and just life in general. Hopefully, we gave you some insight. Hopefully, we gave you something to think about. And at a minimum, we just created another conversation. Until next week, always remember what Tabitha said. It is okay. You're not abandoning others when you choose yourself. You are not abandoning others when you choose yourself. Have a great week, guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.